TMI? Yes. I have a problem, but that's okay. And so I was so, like, it broke my brain working on it for that long. ABS. Always be snacking. Hello everyone, and welcome to my first ever crafting vlog. I don't know what you want to call it. So I wanted to go on a journey for myself and for you and see what it would be like to make a sweater for the first time, crocheting a sweater. So I have been crocheting since my grandma taught me when I was 7 years old. And I've done a lot of like dishcloths, mittens, hats, scarves. And I was like, let's do a sweater. So I went to Michael's and got me some yarn. So I ended up getting Peyton's Beehive Baby Sport yarn. So it's an acrylic nylon blend. And I thought it was a really pretty color. So I found a tutorial on YouTube and thought it looked pretty easy. It's just 2 pieces that you put together. So hopefully it'll turn out well. Let's go back. I'll insert a clip somewhere of the tutorial, hopefully. And if not, I will link it down below. Anyway, let's go back in time to my adventure at Michael's, and I will take you along the journey to see how this whole process turns out. Let's go. So this is what I got done so far. This is the first cuff piece, and I just did what the YouTube tutorial showed. So I've used my yarn on my 4mm crochet hook. I did 44 rows, which was about 7.5 inches. I'm not sure if it's going to be too small, but it is really stretchy. So hopefully it'll work out, and worst case, I'll just have to rip back and adjust the size. It kind of sucks because it's like if you mess up here, then you have to start your whole sweater over again. So here's hoping. Hello. So I've been working away at the old sweater. I'm about halfway down the first panel. I'm at like 22-ish rows, and it's supposed to be 47 rows. Let's have a gander at what I've just discovered. I was just looking down my ball of yarn, and what the heck is that? You see this? This is red fibers trapped around my blue sweater. Like, look how nice my sweater's looking. Looking all good, nice even stitches. How rude. So I have to go in there with my teeny tiny scissors or like a stitch ripper or something and like pull that apart. Cause I hate weaving in ends. I don't know if there's anyone else here who knits or crochets, but I have an entire shelf / bucket dedicated to projects I have started and have not finished simply because I hate weaving in ends. And so if there's a route for me to not weave in an end, I will find it and I will take it. And so I would rather dedicate half an hour of my life to getting rid of this stupid little red piece than we begin and end. I have a problem, but that's okay. It wasn't as bad. I was able to just like squish it together. You can't probably see this, can you? Get out of there. Success. Red fuzzy be gone. So this is the first half of the piece. So like I said, the cuff is the same size and it's 47 rows all the way to the top with the increases. So the only difference is, if I can show you, she said to make it like 21.5 inches along the diagonal end. I don't know if I can show you this with one hand. Hang on. Stay. Okay, so if you can see it down here, it's about 22.5 inches. It's a little bit longer than what she recommended, but I also can't measure it very well. So we shall see, and I'll show you what it looks like in the mirror. Hello. So this is what the first half of the sweater looks like. So I'm sure you'll see in the thumbnail, there'll be two big triangular pieces like this, and we'll attach them together so it makes a nice V. And then after they're attached, we will do like a band kind of along here. And the original creator made it cropped. I don't know if I'll make mine cropped or not, but I'll wear it with high-waisted jeans. And yeah, I really like it so far. I really like the herringbone double crochet. It's a really nice texture and it's very cozy. So let's get started on the other half. Hello. So as you can see, I have now finished both halves of the sweater. This is the most nerve-wracking part for me because it's assembly time. Now, what the original creator said was that it needs to go over your head, so this is like the neck hole, and your waist needs to fit around here. So how I figure it is, you know, you measure your waist, like under, like just below the chest, the smallest part of your torso, and divide that measurement by 2, so you know kind of what, like this is the front half of your garment and that's the back, so in the circle it'll make the full measurement. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it looks like she had more of like a distance, can you even see? She had more of a distance here. Like it's not gonna be, like it's a little bit of a different, it's kind of like a slouchy sweater. So, I don't know. I'm nervous, but that's the thing with like crochet and knitting is you can just rip it out and try again. It's not the end of the world. So what I'll probably do is I will double check my measurements, making sure that everything is even, and then I will like attach, like you start at the cuff. Sorry, you start at the cuff and you work your way into like where the waist hole needs to be, and then you stop. So I'll work into where I think it's gonna be, and then leave like a super long yarn tail so that if I need to keep going, like make the waist smaller, then I can, and if I need to make it bigger, I can just rip out a few stitches, right? That'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna check my measurements, and then I'm gonna get started, and then I tried trying this on in front of a mirror, but even with all these little like stitch markers, it like wouldn't lay flat, and I have no one to help me see if it's the right measurement. So I just don't want it to be too tight, like around the waist, right? Like it should be comfy. Okay, I'm gonna do the most boring part now, counting and measuring, and then I will try doing this part for the sleeves. I'm hoping today that I get like the waist part to like the arms done at least, and then go from there, because we are leaving to go camping this evening. So, and I'm not bringing it with me because it's still summer, and so I really don't want to be having this big, thick, heavy sweater on my lap while I'm sweating profusely in the sun. TMI? Yes. Okay, let's get started. Hello. So I sewed it all together, or crocheted it all together, and this is how it looks so far. There's, I'm still attached. So it's like a V in the back, if you can see that, and in the front. I feel like I may have made the waist a bit too big, but crochet by nature is very tight. It's not as stretchy as knit. So like the stretch ribbing of the cuff is going to be the same as what we do down here. So it'll kind of like cinch it at the waist a little bit. So I'm going to just go with it. How was it? I didn't film putting it together, and probably good, because you would have seen me questioning myself along the way. So one thing I did differently was, I guess I must have put like right panel over left instead of left over right for what the main creator did. So when I was kind of confused, when I was like, there should be a corner here on the outside, but I just did the inverse. It doesn't matter. When I was going around the bottom here, there were a few, oh hi Weenie, there were a few moments that it was like, matching up the half double crochet stitches on both sides was kind of tricky. I should have filmed that, but I am never doing that again.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
That was really annoying. And there was a few like Jesus take the wheel moments. There was a few moments like, calm down brochachos, like just see how it goes. On one of the like underarm seams, I was like, oh, I'm gonna put like a couple of extra single crochets, because there's like a gap between where like the one panel meets like where it was supposed to line up, and then on the other side I had too much. It was like half an inch off. I had like half an inch excess, so I just kind of like fiddled with it, adjusted it, and made it work. Because no one's gonna know. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. If it does make a difference in the final product, I will take it apart, and that'll probably be more painful for me, but I think it will be fine. So I'm just gonna see how it turns out. So I would not say that this is a project for like an early beginner. I would say that I'm like a intermediate level crocheter. Or if you're a beginner and you're like, I don't care if it's perfect, then great. Because yeah, the assembly is probably the most tricky part that I've come to so far. But now it's just going to be the ribbing down here. The ribbing for the next part is supposed to be just as long as the arm part. So this was at one point 7.5 inches. No, it was 7.5 inches the other way. That's what it was. I want more coverage than that. So I'm going to take a measurement from where this is. Actually, I'll do that now. Hang on. All right. Let's make sure my pants are on correctly. And hold my hair. So, okay. So, assuming this is on correctly, I go from there to the top of my jeans. And I've got like 5.5 inches. But things adjust. So I'm going to say 6 inches. And the width of this, oh my gosh, is only like 2.5 inches. So if that's 20, 2.5 inches would be 5, 55 change maybe? I will let you know when I ultimately decide how long I'm going to make it. But I don't really want the crop top look. It's kind of, and it looks silly over a t-shirt also. It's like, it can be worn kind of off the shoulder. This is not a sweater you're going to be wearing like cleaning your bathroom or anything. Like, it's like one of those weird like short arm things. But I want it kind of like down. This sweater is a little bit difficult to like fiddle with. As you're like trying it on as you go and stuff like that. Well, if I pull it down like this is quite baggy around here, but like I said, I'd rather be too big than too small. So, and the ribbing, the waist will suck it in. Give it some more structure. So, yeah, it's different from anything I've worn, but I like the look of it so far. I love this color. I like the feel. It's all like fuzzy and just cozy. It's too hot to wear it right now, but it'll be ready for fall, which is ultimately my goal. Anyway, we're gonna leave for camping, so I will see you when we're back and I have more things, more progress. This is my voice. I'm talking too much. Okay, bye. Hello everyone. It's been a minute. We're back from camping and it's actually been a couple of days. Today is Wednesday. So we got back from camping on Sunday and Monday was a rough day in terms of working on the sweater. So remember how I said I'm never going to do that again when I was working on the waist piece? Yeah, I had to work on that again. So after much hemming and hawing, I decided that the part like below the bust around the waist was in fact too big. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna tear it out again. And it was an ordeal. So what happened? I started taking like around the band out, and that wasn't so bad. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna take apart the sleeve, like the underarm sleeves, but maybe I don't have to take it all the way out. And so I didn't, and so I started putting it back together again. And then I realized the piece of yarn that I left myself was not long enough. So I had to completely take it out again, do the arms to the distance that I thought. So backtracking. I rewatched the original creator's video again, and I paused the video and counted how many rows she had done for underneath the arm. I was like, well, if this is a medium, it's usually my size, and the whole like measuring my own waist and adjusting thing was just not working. So I was like, okay, let's do that. So I figured it out, and I'll insert how many rows I counted in and like measurements and stuff at the end, or I'll talk about it a little bit later. I don't have it on me right now. And oh my gosh. Then it was a matter of like lining everything up. So I got it all lined up and I tried it on. I had like stitch markers like holding everything temporarily in place, making sure it fit over my head and my shoulders and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, it's a little tight, but like I can get it on and off. And like it's tight around my shoulders. It fits well around my waist, but it's tight getting it on and off around my shoulders. And as I mentioned, and some people might know, crochet is not like a stretchy, it's not stretchy. So that was, it's a little bit tricky. Anyways, of course, in the process of trying everything on again, the stitch markers like popped loose. And I was like, no. And then I couldn't get the darn thing all measured or like all lined up again. And so like Monday night was a struggle. So I worked on that waist, like realigning it and stitching it up correctly, like for like an hour. And so it's like, great. It's not ideal. Anyway, and so I was so, like, it broke my brain working on it for that long. I should have just like walked away and tried it again the next day, but I was like, this will not beat me. Anyway, kind of did. And I was so tired that I fed the dog, and then I was trying to like make dinner, and then my husband was like, oh, did you feed the dog? And I must have just not heard him or only grunted in response. And so the dog got fed twice because I was just so tired and not paying attention. And I was like, oh my God, you fed the dog twice. Anyway, so it was rough. So anyway, it's done, and I have started on the waist ribbing now. And I'm really hoping that this is it. But if it's not, it's okay. It's a process, but oh my God. It's been an interesting couple of days. This has been the hardest part, is the assembly. Anyway, so I mentioned before wanting to make it a more, like, not a crop top, a little bit more coverage. So I ended up doing 30 chains or 30 stitches in length for the ribbing instead of 20 like the original creator did. So this is what I have done so far. So you can see that there's more. I think when I first did the armhole, they were only like to there, where my thumb is. So not very much. And this is what I have so far done of the ribbing. It's been tricky. I've watched and rewatched that video of like attaching to the ribbing so many times. I think I've done it right, but holy smokes. So I'm going to keep working away at it, and hopefully this is the last update that I give you before the whole thing is done. Because, oh boy, she's a piece of work. All right, let's get back to it.
Several days later.
It's done. So now all I have to do is weave in the ends. I'm going to insert an image about how I feel about that. And it's done. I'm so excited. This was definitely a long process. So for the bottom ribbing, I ended up doing 31 chains, which was 30 stitches of ribbing length. And that worked well for me. It's still a little bit cropped, but that's okay. I like how it turned out, and I'm going to wear it with high-waisted jeans, and I like the look of it. So for how much yarn I used, the original creator said 400 grams of yarn. I used just shy of 300. Wait a minute, 300? I believe so. But this is all I have left of like the third ball. It's like 2 3/4 or 2.5 balls of yarn. So not bad. I bought 5 balls of yarn, so I have 2 that I can return. So that's great. And then I can save this for another project. What I learned from this whole process. Rule number 1, ABS. Always be snacking. Don't try to assemble your sweater or any kind of, don't try to do anything really important or vital for a craft or a project like right before dinner. It's just not a good idea. I don't know why I thought it was, but I did. And it was terrible. I was so grumpy. And the dog got fed twice. It was a whole thing. Anyway. And for a true beginner or like someone who's assembling a garment or like making a garment for themselves for the first time, maybe a written pattern with like really clear step-by-step instructions might have been a better choice. I felt, just for me personally, I felt like I needed a bit more hand-holding. The assembly was a little bit dicey, but I figured it out and I learned a lot along the way. So it's your call. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to walk away. Take a break, take a breather, and regroup and come back with a fresh set of eyes and a full stomach. What else? Trust your instincts. So if you think like, oh, I don't think that's right, it probably isn't. Like, you know your body best and what you think is going to be comfortable for you, and you can do it. Like the worst thing that would have happened was I would have assembled it and done the ribbing. Like all this is attached. See, that's the problem. So it's like once you do one thing, you kind of have to go all the way backwards to that part. So if I had messed up the assembly, I would have had to undo all the ribbing, undo the underarm seams or the arm seams, and tried it again and started again. This is not the end of the world, because really the assembly, like I said, is the worst part. But the ribbing, it didn't take me very long. It took me like a few hours, but it was just repetitive, just back and forth, ribbing up and down. So yeah, not on the whole too bad. So what is going to be next on the channel? I'm going to continue with my monthly reading roundups at the end of every month, and I'm going to be doing like crafting content. So what I'm most likely going to be able to put up is like one crafting video mid-month and a reading roundup at the end of the month. So I want to knit a sweater in the future. However, I'm not as confident as a knitter as I am a crocheter. Is that proper grammar? I don't know. I'm better at crocheting and more confident in my ability to crochet than I am in my ability to knit. There we go. I can knit, but a sweater is a really big, it's a really big adventure. So I will probably, before I die, I'm thinking in the new year, like after Christmas, because right now I have to actually start thinking about gifts that I'm going to be making for friends and family. So I'll be doing some other like smaller crafting tutorials maybe, but I will not be doing any huge garments for myself for a while. Yeah, so I'm really excited and I hope you like it. So yeah, if you wanted to try your hand at making something for friends and family for Christmas gifts, I'll be able to hook you up and give you some good ideas that you could maybe try. And it's early enough that you have some time to get going. Anyway, thank you. If you made it all the way to the end of this vlog, thank you for your patience. It's been a journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've made something for yourself or if you try something similar. Tag me. I'll insert my social media handles. And yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye. Like that and it was really hard to try on. Anyway, and of course I didn't have, yeah. You're interrupting my filming.
You currently filming?
Yes.
I'm off Monday.
Okay, great.
Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye. Bye, world. See ya, YouTube.
God. Okay, what was I talking about?